So you just die in the future.
You just have this respirator that you wear.
Yeah, that's the only, you have to basically set it to what your place and time and space is oxygen wise
But
or
Andrew in the
atmospheric
chat was
wise.
talking about time, and I pointed out that we weren't in the same physical location because the sun moves, and we move around the sun, so we're way far away from where we were. And he's like, "God damn it, you just ruined everything."
No, that's why you go back in space and time.
Yeah,
You do
yeah.
both.
You have to warp space.
That's why you
and
gotta have a TARDIS because TARDIS
Yeah.
can do that.
The wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Yeah. So So if you guys ever wondering what the heck we talk about when the red button isn't live, we're not live. This is what happens behind the scenes. The the key for the key holders. So still work shoving it. The key holders. they get to see all that. But anyways, hello everyone. Welcome to an exciting episode of Low Key on the We Are Libertarians Networks. I am your host today. My name is Harry, aka the Moving Target, and we're gonna have an interesting episode today. I do want to talk about a little about stuff that's going on in Hollywood. Vincent sent me a cool meme that he needs to explain. Apparently, try to explain it behind the scenes, but I realized that the key holders didn't have I didn't hit record, so the key holders weren't getting a lot of that. So I was like, you know what? Let's wait, do it live. We'll give it everybody so everyone can experience. But as you guys know, I do not fly solo. I'm going to bring everyone else on. The other person would do, because we missed something last week. This is totally my fault and some of his. I'll blame him too. But it was also Reinhold's birthday, so I wish everybody a happy birthday to Reinhold. We did miss that.
Oh, hey, I didn't even know.
So everybody wish Reinhold a happy birthday in chat. Okay, for the birthday boy, So
after a certain age, it doesn't really. It doesn't feel like a celebration anymore. Yay, you're closer to death. Yay. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, it's one more year that you stayed alive.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we lost Paul Rubens today, so.
Yeah. We did.
And he was just about, 13 years older than me.
Oof. Same age as my mom. Yeah.
He looked better at 71 than I look now. So that's great. That's fun to know.
Yeah. Well, it just clearly shows you don't do enough drugs. All right. So the other person we've got on the show is got Vincent. Vincent, say hi as meme bombardier. Yourself.
I'm here, as per usual, talking about the least politic part of things.
I was drinking water and you just kind of just stopped.
Yeah.
You just
that's what made it funny.
Yeah. So Vincent was happy to know that there was actually absolutely nothing happened politically in the last week. So
nothing at all happened. Major things happening, like capitals being poked by things, but let's see here nor there.
Yeah, absolutely nothing happened. Oh God, no! Oh man!
We can't talk about that without our Russian correspondent, producer Paul. So
hold on, I'll bring him in. All right, we'll just change this whole topic. It'll be fine.
That's fine. Later. It's later.
We'll just change everything. Screw it. I did get to brought Dear Lear over to the studio this weekend. Talked to him and showed him my ideas for moving the stuff out of the crappy layout to a better layout. He hates the acoustics of the room, but I keep telling him dude, unless recording studio quality, most of the noise gate doesn't care about that room. I don't care how small you think this room is, how much noisy and vibration is that. We've got such high quality radio equipment, it won't care. It will not care. So I'm gonna run a test. We'll find out. I'm trying to tell him it won't care. It will not care. But here or there. But yes. Corbin passed today. He was doing his very private, but he had a very private battle with cancer. We lost him. We all know him from when his starring in several movies, like the movie Blow. Loved him in Blow.
Mystery Man. Movie. He was the spleen.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, the Mystery Man. Great movie. Great movie. Oh man, yeah. Oh, also Pee Wee Herbert's Play. Yeah, Pee Wee. Also that. Yeah. Comes of everything. Pops up everywhere in all kinds of different like fun movies. It's always there. Always around.
He was in Meatballs 2. Mm-hmm. Actually.
I've never seen Meatballs 2. What the heck is Meatballs 2?
How uncultured are you?
Ryan's like, you tell him you haven't seen that movie that only 7 people have seen?
Okay, came out a year before I was born.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know Meatballs 2. If you didn't know, I definitely didn't know what Meatballs 2 was.
Sequel to a 1979 movie.
I'll say Meatballs you know about, right?
No.
You don't know Meatballs 2?
Sequel to a 1979. I know Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, sir. I know Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah. Hey, Christy.
Hi, Christy. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
Meatball is no idea. Sorry.
Yeah, what is this movie?
It was basically an attempt to recapture Animal House, only set in a summer camp with Bill Murray.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen this. Probably didn't know it was called Meatballs, though. I may have seen this. Maybe. But all those like 70s, 80s, like adventure camp movies all look the same after a while. It also sucks that like you see all these like these camp movies and stuff like that. There's not many of these camps left because of people like
So John Larroquette was in Meatballs 2 as well. And he's one of my favorite actors. He's part of the reason why I have the name Reinhold, by the way.
Nice.
More Reinhold trivia for you. Mm-hmm. All right. So today's topic, what I really wanted to talk about, which I was trying to get into last week, was all about this Hollywood Residuals. But before we get into that topic, I'm going to tease that, put the little teaser out there. We're going to do like this because like it's all this Hollywood stuff has been going up there, has been like messing with my feed, and I don't know. I'm in trying to get some empathy and see what's going on out there, but it's really freaking hard for me. Really hard. Even in doing research for this, reading something like I'm gonna need someone help. I want to have empathy for people. I want to have empathy. I'm finding it really hard. But I was sent a meme in chat. It's about one of the because it's about one of the animes that I get ready to frequent. Like I want to know about it. So, the stage is yours.
So. Recently, there was a Gundam series that came out called Gundam Witch of Mercury, and the anime was very successful. People really enjoyed it. It made Gundam the third most profitable thing for Namco Bandai for last year. The Gunpla for the Ariel, the main Gundam in the show, was the highest selling Gunpla they had like ever, and the show ended. Spoiler warning for the ending of the series with the 2 main leads, who are 2 women, married. And people liked it. They're like, "Oh, that's cool." They did it. They actually went through with them being together, etc.
Women married.
Right. So there was an article in a Japanese magazine called Gundam Ace, where they were talking about Witch of Mercury and how they get married at the end. And Namco Bandai reached out and go, can you get rid of that? Say it's not canon. We don't want that. It's up to the fans' interpretation.
What?
Yes, they had wedding rings, and one was called sister-in-law, but it's up to the fans. It's open for interpretation. It's open for interpretation.
What the fuck?
So within 24 hours, they flipped the reception of their series because Bandai decided to take something that people really enjoyed and go, yeah, no, that it's open to fans' interpretation. Even though they were engaged episode 1, they confessed their feelings throughout the series. They literally have wedding rings and called sister-in-law, and they go, it's open to interpretation. So it literally had a 50% negative to positive swing in 24 hours. Like it was like a 78% positive reception for the series, and within 24 hours it was dropped to 28.
See, this is why you buy physical copies, okay?
So the thing was that since it was in a magazine, they've reached out and basically tried to make it non-canon. Because they it's obvious that they're trying to sell it to the markets that don't see that it's appropriate.
Yeah.
And by them saying it's up to interpretation, it allows them to try to have their cake and eat it too.
Yes.
But instead, it just pissed off everybody who enjoyed their series for no reason. Because it came out of nowhere. It was unrelated to anything that was happening. It was the first official statement they made about the series after it ended, which was correcting an article.
All right, if I'm honest,
hey, go broke, right?
This isn't the first time they've done this.
No, it definitely probably isn't.
Usually that means there's maybe a Gundam Witch Mercury 2. They do that too. They mess with the ending and because they want to extend it. It's like, this was very popular. Boom. Keep going.
We need to keep going. That's why we have the Gundam Seed sequel 20 years later.
Yeah, pretty much. Or Double Zeta, which I find out like my love of women come from watching Gundam Zeta as a kid. I only know that from rewatching the series.
That's hilarious.
When you go like, oh my god, it's like. Anyways, my original wife. Anyways, let's just go. Let's move on. But no, because they've done this before with Camille. The guy who killed several different people, committed war crimes because someone was getting made fun of him because he had a girl's name. The strongest new type, Camille Badan. They retroactive instead of him dying at the end of Zeta Gundam, he was a healing coma.
Oh, I didn't know they were pulling Superman back then.
Healing coma. He's in a coma.
They're doing the Kryptonian healing coma in Gundam.
That well, you have to understand. Like they had a lot of backlash because they kind of like murdered their, like I said, most of the main cast in the last 6 episodes. It just said, "All right, let's just start murdering people."
But yeah, so there's been a bunch of memes of it's open for interpretation.
Open for interpretation
for things that definitely are open for interpretation.
That's not
hence the meme of saying that Trace is Shard. He's like, it's open for interpretation.
Now, to be honest,
he definitely is Shard.
To be honest, that's half the joke of Gundam Zeta in the beginning. He's like, is this Shard? Da. You're Shard. I'm so not Shard. Bro, it was just Shard.
Open for interpretation.
It's funnier this way.
So yeah, it's one of those things of people seeing this backlash for something they've really enjoyed. It's for the people that are like really into that genre, the Yuri genre and stuff like that. It's like one of their first big series that people actually like talked about and cared about as like a big main franchise thing that wasn't in its own like corner.
Yeah.
And then they just come in and get retconned out of existence. and everybody's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Like, why would you come in and just do this? Like
So
I said, could be
it,
they're making a
it's
6th season.
it's open for interpretation. Just if they're
Yeah.
making a second season or not.
I
But
don't. This is wild.
it's it's one of those things of when you sell your whole series on it and then just go, nah, it ain't like that though. They were roommates.
They're roommates.
They were roommates though.
See, I told you, Vincent. They're
They
roommates.
were roommates the whole time.
Roommates the whole time.
Oh,
All right, so let's move on to the next
yeah.
topic now. Because I'm having a hard time, like as you guys been knowing, like the SAG-AFTRA, like so the screenwriters in Hollywood and now the actors in Hollywood are striking for dealing with their contracts, and it's been going on for what is it, a little over a month now. The writers went first, and then the actors went afterwards, and so they have to putting all the stops to this because, and what they're going against, which some of them might go for, they don't want to. They want controls in place for so the studios don't use AI to basically use their past work to make new work and they not get a cut of it, not get paid from it. Completely respect that. You're building it off of their things like that. You're not getting any money for it or not be able to use it at all. I can understand that. That I get behind. I'm completely with that one. What I can't get behind is like the idea of like these residual payments, and that's where my stuff guys. I'm not gonna like really support a lot of these people in the first place because a lot of the problems are their own making, but it's more like I want to be able to have some respect to it, and so, and I really just want to because like my feed and everything else has been like just filled about these writer strike, the actor strikes, TV shows being canceled, or things that I knew like was greenlit coming down the pathway. Like, no, probably not going to come. Probably not going to come. Or this is the last bit of this show you're going to get, unless something is going to happen. And if it doesn't happen anytime soon, that show's canceled. It's what is it? Not 2008 over again. When we're going to get inundated with reality TV. Of course, I did say to someone out the other night, like it'd be interesting if they started doing like Survivor Classic, kind of like WoW Classic. Because Survivor's been going on for so long, they redid Survivor Classic. Bring back some of the classic stuff for Survivor. Thinking right, I was like, Survivor Classic, is that on? It's like, I want Survivor Classic edition. I know. Classic, old school, not the newer, like goofy stuff. I understand they're trying to change everything up, but classic Survivor. Like in the first 7 seasons,
So is this the only way we're actually going to get Dr. Horrible too?
See, I don't know this time. All right, so because okay, so I posted some of the articles like because the guild has been all right, like there's some of the BS is going on because the guild has given waivers for certain actors to work and some actors not to be able to work. So the Hollywood Reporter reported on which I like because Sarah Silver's was yelling about this because certain A-list celebs were still working during the actor strike because they were giving waivers to work on non-studio films. They're working on independent films. So they're still working. They're working on independence because that was like that. And they got waivers for it, which I couldn't imagine being some star of an actor or just someone at the guild in Hollywood go like, whoa. I thought we were working. Oh, it's not for the studio. Can I get one of them waivers? No. No, you cannot. I just want to do
could if it wasn't for a studio. That's the real big deal is that they're trying to strike against the studios.
Correct. But the thing is they gave up a lot of confusion because the week prior during like when the Comic-Con and everything else, they were trying to get when the Barbie and Oppenheimer movies coming out, they gave some very unclear instructions to people for cosplaying and doing different things like that with studios. It was very unclear and it was actually almost the verge of threatening other people not to be able to do anything, and then also turned other people into snitch culture with the whole idea of like doing things on YouTube and stuff like that. So I don't know. Like, yeah. But sorry, Ryan, I cut you off.
No, that's pretty much all I was saying. I was just kind of point out that they're really fighting. They don't want their people to starve. I mean, they want them to get out and work if they can, but they they're just fighting against the studios because the studios are the ones that are doing the stuff that they're trying to get resolved. The independence, as long as the independent productions are not doing the things that the studios are doing, that's when they get the waivers for them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the independents are, because they can't pay up front, a lot of them are paying what they need for the residuals. Like, oh, we're going to get this picked up on a streaming thing, especially with the writer strike like that. They're going to want their independent or things that they're doing, and they'll be able to command that top dollar for their streaming, stuff like that. And since they're independent, they're not going to they'll easily write that AI thing, the things for the studio. So right. I get it. It is trying to put pressure on different things, but it seems like these roles are going to be few and far between. And if A-listers are vacuuming them up like big Hoovers, and especially influencer sponsorship deals, it's kind of, to me, it's kind of BS. Trying to tell small time influencers and YouTubers like, hey, you can't do this, don't do that, because they want it, and then hoovering it up. That's what I see. I see.
YouTubers aren't part of SAG or AFTRA, are they? I mean, they're
yes. Certain YouTube channels and YouTubers meet the qualifications to be a SAG-AFTRA, and they actually went off and courted these people to join the SAG-AFTRA union. Yeah. So your YouTube channel has to be a certain size. You have to have a certain, you have to do like certain things with your YouTube channel. Or you have to have certain sponsorship deal. You also have to have an agent. There are requirements you have to do for your YouTube channel to actually be a part. And yeah, you meet the requirements, you can get in. And it's something they did.
When do I get my SAG card? Come on.
Right, hold on. Do you want to be in the union? Do you want to join the SAG union? Right,
all your puppies don't count as an agent, sir. You have to get a real agent.
Oh, I was my agent.
Reinhold joins up. I was like, sorry guys, I'm not a scam. I can't be on the show on Mondays. Once we talk, I can only be on if we're like, I'm independent. I need this AI thing.
Hey, I get that insurance. That's what you get, right? You did it for the health insurance.
Is it good health insurance, and does it work outside of California?
No, it's good health insurance, but it's like, was it? They figured out to get to qualify for the insurance for the union insurance. Mm-hmm. You have to make like more than $20,000 a year, and like 80% of the people on the union don't qualify.
Oh, okay. So that explains why they went after YouTubers. Yep. But they also threaten the YouTubers and influencers a little, because if you ever wanted to be into the future, you also won't work with the studios right now. So let's say that because as far as I know, no one here is a member of SAG-AFTRA, right? Let's say a big studio, let's say, I don't know, I'll make up one, Disney, right? Asked us to write, She-Hulk season 2. Okay. All right. If we did that, right, we would lose the ability to ever join SAG-AFTRA ever again. By the way, Disney, if you do that, I'll fix your show. I'll fix your show. I will fix your show. I will fix the crap out of it.
That show was great.
I will fix your show. Don't listen to Reinhold. I will fix your
Don't worry. I will retcon Secret Invasion.
I will fix Secret Invasion at the same time. To make
Terrence Howard the version that got scrolled, because that made sense.
Yeah, I'll fix Secret Invasion. I'll fix everything. I'll make it so good. I'll make Danny Rand sound like a good character again, because he's going to be a scroll straight up. I'm going to explain that real quick. Scroll.
That one was a scroll. Here's the real Danny Rand.
Here's the real Danny Rand. God.
Just at Paramount. I mean, you missed the crossover because you won't watch New Worlds, so you missed the
that's the joke's on you. I love Lower Decks, and thanks to people with the correct politics of flags, I was able to watch all the Boimler scenes I wanted.
I saw the ones I wanted to see. So get ready.
Yeah. So jokes on you, Ryan.
Good show. You should watch it. That's all
I don't know. I'm sorry. It's You know, like it's the other bad Trek makes me really scared and hold on to Lower Decks for dear life. Lower Decks is just like, there is good Trek, right? Right? William, they're holding me.
And Lower Decks is saying, "Hey, Strange New Worlds is pretty cool. We'll do a crossover with them." So they say the same thing. Good Trek.
It probably is. But I've just, like I said, I'm going to stick into Lower Decks, and when they present nothing else exists.
This is the only Trek for me.
This is the only true Trek right now. This is Strange New Worlds.
I'm gonna blaze my glory.
Good. Like some people, like I do find some critics that really like some especially old Trek heads for some reason hate Lower Decks. They hate it with a fiery passion. I was like, this isn't Star Trek. It's too funny. Pop. Like I know that's what makes it even better is because it's not Trek. I think if Trek was like this, it would just be awful. It would be awful. But it's like Deep Space Nine. What makes Deep Space Nine so good is because how stuffy Next Generation was. If Next Generation, like if Deep Space Nine came before Next Generation, like I don't think Deep Space Nine would have worked. That's me personally. I think Deep Space Nine only worked because of Next Generation, because it was just such a turn from
It's
that.
not so much it was a turn, so it was also that remember when I don't know if you remember this because I don't know if you were born yet, but when Next Generation came out, there were a lot of people who thought they were ruining Trek by doing it. Right. And there was a lot of concern. Plus the fact that the first season wasn't really the best season of Next Generation. So there was a lot of people who were really, really concerned about that. But once it got out and people were like comfortable with Trek again being on the air and being produced, that's when they were okay. Deep Space Nine makes sense. It was good to go to, and it was a little different. And you had, I mean, Odo is a great character, and he's always a great actor, and he's been in a bunch of different types of characters for Trek, and
giving him like a full-time spot on the show was great. It was amazing. But like yes, I do remember the fight because I remember that from like my dad, because he was trying to get me into watching Star Trek, the original series, and I couldn't watch it. I couldn't get into it. So he kind of like, I think he just like bit his lip and watched Next Generation. He got into that, got me into Star Trek, but I really got into Deep Space Nine. That one really pulled me in. So
I mean, the way you should be watching Star Trek, and it's not complete yet, but you should be watching Enterprise. That Jeffrey Archer is the captain.
First? I would not give people Enterprise first.
No, I'm just saying if you want to watch Star Trek in order, like canonical timeline order, Enterprise first, then Strange New Worlds, then Star Trek, and then after Star Trek, you got to watch Star Trek Continues, which was the fan version that took basically it took over from where the original series ended and finished out the 5-year mission to the point where now they're done with the mission at the end of the series. Then you go on to Next Generation.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can watch it that way, because then like the oopsies of plot, some of the plot holes don't make sense though. Like the oopsies. Oops. The oopsies. Oopsie tootsies.
There's not really a lot. I mean,
there's not, but they will be glaring at that time. Watching what they're like.
Well, if you watch Strange New Worlds, there's a lot of things they're doing where people who are like, wait a minute, this person and this person are acting like they don't know each other, but we know that they know, that sort of thing. Like,
what? To
give you a hint, one of the characters in Strange New Worlds, last name is Khan. Now, she's a descendant of Sun Yun Khan. So if somebody like that was on the Enterprise during that run with Pike and Kirk's brother, and they've already worked with James Kirk a couple times, she's actually been, she knows James Kirk. Why did Kirk not know who Khan was when he picked him up? Right? During the original series. So that's where people are like going, you're messing a little bit here.
Getting too close to
what's
the sun
going
here.
on.
Yeah.
And that's when the MIB mind wiper shows up.
Yeah.
You don't know anything
They
about
just
the code.
forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I like so like Uhura, right? I feel like I did kind of feel like Lower Decks kind of messed with Uhura too much. I enjoyed the episode, but I was like, man, I like they got her kind of relaxing and partying, like like stuff like that, like what Uhura is known for, stuff like that also. But I was like, I kind of didn't want someone to come from the future to help push that. I was, but I didn't want that. I didn't want it.
Well, I mean, what they're doing with Uhura in Strange New World is actually really great. She's an awesome character in the show, and she does a really good job.
Yeah. Oh, from what I've seen from that strange from the Lower Decks, I was like, yes, I loved it. It was amazing. Everyone but Spock. Spock looks weird. Spock looks like he hits the gym.
What's funny is you missed the episode before that. Spock got turned into a human. Hilarious episode. They went through like some weird crash thing, and then these ancient people, said, "Well, we reconstructed him from the wreck, and there were two people on the ship. One of them was human, one of them was malfunctioned. So we just made them, we fixed them, and put them back together. Put him back together as a human.
Fixed it.
He comes out, he's pure human, and he's like can't control his rage. It's hilarious. He does a great job acting on it, but he was supposed to be doing his engagement ceremony with T'Pring, and that was all kinds of fun because of that. So,
oh man, okay, all right.
You gotta watch it. That actually is really good.
See, that seems like a Lower Deck episode. That seems silly. Okay, that's too much Star Trek. I want that's a little bit of fun. I don't know. That seems too silly. That seems a little Lower Decky. That seems like that should be on Lower Decks. Personally, but outside this, it sounds silly. Unless it's long as it's just a one-off. It's like
it was just he got returned back to normal.
Oh yeah,
the show.
Yeah.
Status quo.
Yeah, gotta put the pieces back to where they were. That's the other problem. Like I see, like with
other
Strange
things
New World,
in the change the status quo
because you have to put all the pieces back because all the pieces have to be in a certain spot at a certain time. So everything's got to be put back. So
they're playing a little bit. They're having fun with it. They're playing a little bit, but the end of that episode, there was some major things that happened that I don't want to spoil too much, but it does play out in the original series later. So they set up some stuff by having that happen to set up stuff later.
Okay. All right.
And Nurse Chapel's killing it. She's great.
It's okay. I'm good. I'm still going to take your thing with the Great Assault because of your food choices and TV show likes. Have to, preface it all with that.
I mean, I have nowhere to speak. I think the last Western thing I've watched in general was Arcane, and that was basically a Western anime. So that should let you know where I am.
You should watch Nimona on Netflix. I recommend that. It's
Good Omens 2 just came out.
I've watched Nimona I think it's like 5 times now. And then
I haven't crossed the Spider-Verse yet, which I heard was good. I have not watched that. Didn't watch Wednesday. Didn't watch anything made Western or live action in the past 3 years.
I'm gonna recommend you not watch Wednesday. It will piss you off. You'd be like, this show's bait. Tim Burton's going on the list.
Well, according to the internet, it's not. So I know what it is. I know it is, but
it is straight up bait.
I know what you're talking about. But
Burton's going on the list.
There's a bunch of things that I just haven't watched that I have no after Endgame and the Spider-Man and watch it. I think I watched up to Loki on the TV series, and it was just kind of I don't care anymore. I just stopped caring for most things.
Yeah. most of it's trash and written by like awful people with with no originality. It's
Like
awful.
even the good things that like the first couple seasons of The Witcher show, I didn't watch that, even though I heard it was really great show.
Unless you like Henry
Are you,
Cavill abs, don't
are you gonna
watch
say
it.
the WandaVision wasn't well written?
No, I liked WandaVision. As I said, WandaVision was the first one though. That was probably the best of the three I watched. Is WandaVision was good, and then
It,
Falcon
I
and
thought
Winter
Loki
Soldier
was great.
was mid, and then
Mhm.
I enjoyed Loki, but the issue is that where it ended and how it affected most of the universe kind of just made me shrug.
it just shit on everything.
Well, I did like Kang and stuff, but most of the movie is just like Loki wants to bang himself, but she's a girl version of himself, and like that's like half of the show.
Did you see Kang in Ant-Man and Quantumania?
I've seen clips. I haven't watched the movie.
I mean,
And
seriously, the guy they have playing Kang is fucking awesome.
Too bad
as
he's not
far
coming
as-
back. They fired him.
No, he's back.
The allegations
Why?
they fired him. There was a
He was found innocent. What are you talking about?
right? But they have not confirmed that he's coming back as Kang.
I know they were waiting to find out what happened. If he's been exonerated, so I'm sure he'll be back.
I thought you were gonna say he's been Johnny Depp, but yeah. Hey! Speaking of exonerations, Kevin Spacey.
Oh God! This is gone.
How's that? I mean, how's that gonna come across? I mean, he's found not guilty. Now, does he get uncanceled? Does he get his stuff back? Does he get? We can watch him now. Yeah, I can watch
House of Cards
again.
Yeah, can I watch House of Cards?
Yeah. Can we get another
watch
season?
Can you watch 7 again?
Yeah,
Well, 7 was okay because he was such a horrible person in 7. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that's justifiable to watch. Like. Think it's American Beauty, then you got to ask yourself, can you watch this again? And you try to like, well, it's a girl, so. All right, I'm wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was in the wrong. Found the line. But yeah, Kevin Spacey, not guilty, right? Right? So yeah. So we accept him back with open arms and apologize him.
Hey, they accepted Mel Gibson back after all he did.
That's different. He was going after them. Okay. Who's them though? Yeah. No. Yeah.
So the writer's strike and the actor's strike. All right. So one of the things that the whole residuals from streaming thing, I can understand where they're coming from because of the premise of when you originally started writing, you were writing in your contract was for a particular thing of you writing a serialized thing on television, and then something came out of nowhere that was out of your idea of what could happen, and then you just kind of get shafted by it by them all switching to it. It's like if you were a writer and you in your contract when you sign for it, they're like, yeah, any book you get, this is just a random number, every book you sell, you get $1 off of that book. Every audiobook played, you get $1 off of that book. Cool. And then they go, cool, but digital downloads of that book, you get nothing. It's like, but it's still my work. I still wrote it. And it's basically you selling my book, but in a digital form. It's like, yeah, but go fuck yourself.
So, well, remember what happened to Scarlett Johansson, right? She did that Black Widow movie. The pandemic hit. They didn't release it in theaters. They released it on streaming. Her deal was she got points based off of how well it did at the box office. So since it wasn't at the box office, she got screwed. So she had to sue them to get money for the work she did, even though the studio is making money off of what, And that's the thing, is that everybody's talking about, well, should these people get this much money, or should you get this for residuals and stuff like that? If the studio is making money off that work, they deserve the money off the work, right? The studios are making so much money. I mean, do we want to let them just keep that money, then make more money? Because they're not going to, lower ticket prices. They're not going to make things cheaper. They're not going to cut back on advertising because they're not paying the actors anymore, right? So, and to me, it's like with the football players, right? I mean, we can yell about how this football player is making, $20 million. That should be enough for anybody. Why are they holding out for more money? Well, when the owners of the teams making, the $100 billion or whatever off of their work, they feel like they deserve more of that, of what that is,
players
right?
Have like CTE and shit. Because they're running backs and they just run head first into people, and people don't pay them any money. But it's also it's in my brain, it feels like it's the evolution of syndication. When somebody wrote when they wrote a Friends and it goes on syndication, they would get paid residuals every time it showed on television. Why wouldn't they get paid if people can just, instead of it being on a television network, people would just go to a streaming site and watch it anyway? It's the same.
That was the big deal with RIAA. Remember, it was with the music, because music started going to streaming and getting downloaded. And it's like, well, you're not selling an actual CD. You're not going to get any money. So the artist had to get some sort of recompensation for the fact that their art's out there. What they did was put out there that they were expecting money for, but because technology changed, they're getting shafted on it. Right. Yeah. And I'm not as sympathetic to some of the things that they did and who they, all that stuff, but how they went about it, as it were. But still, I understood that it's still their music and they should still get paid, still get paid for it. And this whole thing about, I'm having a problem a little bit with this whole streaming thing and music side of things, because I bought all that music and now you're making me pay, again for it or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But that's besides the point, right? So,
That's Reinhold makes a NAS episode. Yeah, Reinhold eventually will make a NAS and put all his songs there, and then he'll be his own Spotify again.
Well, the problem is that, like, I used to have an application that would go, okay, like Zune would say, okay, you can play your music on your phone that you've got from your CD. You can convert it to digital. You can play it on your phone. Those apps are gone now. You can't do that anymore.
Oh man, did you remember
very
back in
easily
the day when Apple did this, and we lost some Jerry Garcia like master recordings because of it. So like, oh man, so like this is like because people liked Apple, right? They liked iTunes, right? And it was doing like this syncing thing. So people would like, I've got this, I've got this live recording, right? It's just recorded. It's the exact same song, right? Like, but it's live. It's better. It's like recorded as a microphone. But Apple saw it as like, oh, we have that here. Delete. Send them this. So they deleted the live recording and sent it to the studio. And not like a raw image, not FLAC, MP3 quality cut. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Not
lucky that person.
No loss. Terrible.
Yep. I wonder if I can find that article again. But no. All right. So I'm with you there. I think the lawyers and any judge does that, like, doesn't understand. See, that's the same type of view. I think it's scummy. I think it's very scummy to be able to allow that to go. I also view that I think from this is also going to be kind of bad or too full, also a good thing too, because I think the streaming sites will have to end up having to be more transparent with its numbers. I think that is what's going to be one of those things that have to do come up, is because it's like, like if let's say like TV show Friends, Lisa Kudrow, right? She, they gets paid this much every time Friends is on TV. Okay, that's fine, but they're paying for a TV spot, everything like this, money, the ads, everything, that money's going to be there. When it comes to like stream, like it's basically someone has to click on it, someone has to watch it, just like, hey, they have to choose to watch that, right? But then it's also like the price breakdown on what you can watch based off the streaming site, because if let's take like about stuff like that, like with my $20 a month to my streaming site that I pay, like I'm watching like with my, because it uses my whole household, I'm watching like hundreds of content on that thing. Like,
right.
How many fractions did you just track down like my $20? Like how much you really going to get out of my $20? This blood from the stone thing that you're gonna like, is the money really there? Like is the half the money that the streaming sites have, is it fictitious? Does it really exist there? Or are people watching the exact same thing all the time? What's going on? Like there's a lot of smoky mirrors going on that I think the clarity that the guild want, I think also us as people, as investors into different streaming sites and viewers, just want to know, like, how many people are actually watching this? What's the metrics behind Netflix's these top 10 of country, top 10,
right,
top
right.
10,
it's like looking at how Disney Plus is hemorrhaging money. You don't want to be on Disney Plus because that streaming site is hemorrhaging money.
Paramount Plus. Hemorrhaging money. Okay. All right. I think they probably realize it's like, listen, like I may hate Netflix sometimes, but it's got a lot of the content that I want. And if I don't got it on Netflix, I probably got it Amazon Prime, which I need for the Prime shipping. If it's not there, I got Tubi. What? Are you gonna get this? Nah, I can wait. I got Tubi. Well,
like you have to understand, like there were the ones that got in early, right? There's Hulu and Netflix, which got in early, so they have an established fan base. And even though Hulu is not as popular as for Netflix, it's still a consistent thing that people go to and have originals and have content that way. And Amazon Prime is Amazon, so Amazon don't care, baby. Amazon don't care, baby.
it's part of the Amazon World Domination Tour. Okay.
So then you have a bunch of other fractures of websites trying to grab from those three bigger markets, and they have to specialize. We have stuff like Crunchyroll, which is only anime. High Dive, which is only anime, which is and High Dive gets exclusivity to anime, so that way people have to go to their site to watch stuff.
Yeah. Retro Junk. It's all the retro anime,
the old things that people haven't seen in a long time.
They got rid of their ad tier list now, which sucks. So that you actually get some cash. Sucks to watch my retro junk. and like more of just more of like, I don't feel like grabbing a VHS tape from the basement. I just want to watch the show.
But there's also a lot of them are losing, faith in things. So like with Max, that's what it's called now. It's HBO Max. It's just Max.
Whatever. Yeah, the Max. Yeah.
The Max. Yeah.
See, here's the thing too. Just real quick before you go, I thought that was the worst marketing decision of the last 20 years. Until X came around.
Confirmed. Reinhold watches X videos.
So don't worry, Reinhold. X has got even funnier because their new tagline is "Blaze your glory." Because
it's like they. So here's an I'm tangenting real quick, but that's the way my brain works, right? But the funniest thing is that the word tweeting something, had been added to the dictionary as a verb for as an acceptable use, right? You tweeted this to somebody. That's like Xerox going, hey, we got, when you Xerox something to somebody, well, we're going to change our name from Xerox to something else. That would be the dumbest thing, right? I mean, that would be dumb. The fact that this is your company name is the verb you use for that industry.
I just like the fact that people are treating it like Prince. They're treating it like Prince, calling it the website formerly known as Twitter. Almost everybody I've seen there talk about it. It's like the website formerly known as Twitter, and they don't want to call it X because X is stupid. But anyway,
it is stupid.
I know.
I'm gonna get on X video.
Apple said it's not allowed. It's not allowed on the network now because the rules that the name X isn't a valid one, so they can't
even do
call
it.
it
Yeah.
X in the Apple Store.
Dude, like
All right,
the
go back to what you were saying.
no, the logo changed. Like, so, like I got the update for
Mm-hmm.
Twitter on my my Android VM, right? And I thought I had a fucking virus because all it was just X in the middle of the damn thing. I'm like, oh shit, my VM. I'm like, oh, the Twitter app updated. It's like,
But,
oh my
like-
god, someone hacked my VM.
But like with Macs going out of their way to just get rid of a bunch of content and making it so that things are just gone
Mhm.
without
Right, and
the
that's the
rights
worst part.
reverting back to the original creators,
Mhm.
makes it even worse on top of that. So
Yeah,
when you
that's
have
what I
people who
hate.
make like the person who made Infinity Train,
Mhm.
the only way people
Yeah.
can watch it is if they pirate it.
Mhm.
The only way you can watch it at all is if you buy the DVD
Mhm.
or Blu-ray, which
Yep.
which is expensive, and that's how anime works. That's the only reason anime is profitable in Japan, because Japan loves their Blu-rays. They buy a fuck ton of Blu-rays. It's
Fuck yeah.
insane. But
I want to watch Bosom Buddies. I can't.
no,
It's not available streaming anywhere.
Mm-mm.
There's a lot of shows that I grew up watching that I would love to go back and watch again, but I just cannot do it unless I go pirate it. Right? And what do you know? It's like I would never pirate a single TV show or movie. I'd pay for it if it's available. But when you don't make it even available to view, then you get what you get.
but yeah, it's
Reinhold, just what you get, what you deserve.
Exactly.
yeah, getting clarity from what the streaming sites do, and it's also like, for me, it's very important that if they can that getting those residuals for the things they created, even if it's the couple cents of an episode that people watch, it's still, they put their work into it. They should get something out of it, even if they get a check every month that's like, here's $2,000 because people decided to binge House for the 7th time this month.
I mean, you see all the stories about people who get residual checks for like 5 cents, for something they did 20 years ago. I mean, it's just that's just the nature of it, right? But I think that the concerns of the studio is that they don't know how they're monetizing it. Everything's still kind of in flux on the monetization on streaming.
Right.
So they're afraid to go to sign a contract and end up giving these guys way more money, and then they're going to be losing money on the deal. I mean, that's really their concern. I kind of get that, but you got to remember who's causing that flux in the monetization aspect. So you're trying to maximize everything you can out of it.
Disney.
Right? So they're doing all kinds of, like, we used to pay for cable and you get all the channels on it. Now we're like, we just wanted to pick what we want and have a la carte. Well, we got that and it's great. But now I'm paying for Paramount Plus and Amazon and Netflix and Disney, and it's like, and Max, and it's at some point, how much am I paying more now for cable than I was before?
Maybe you are. My pirate flag stays up. I mean, I go to the public library.
I pay for one. I pay for one, and then then everybody else I know pays for one, and we share.
Right, but you
Allegedly.
watch one thing. You watch, basically just watch anime stuff, right? I mean, you're not watching all the stuff that I watch.
But even
I
then,
watch all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, even there, like, and there's some anime exclusive to different streaming sites and all that kind of stuff. But there's ways around that.
Now, Reinhold, they have anime like Bosom Buddies. If you really like Bosom Buddies, I can recommend you some anime.
Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari are just fun to watch. I'm sorry, you're not matching that with some anime.
I don't know.
Those two guys, man, fucking hilarious.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Can't beat Tom Hanks. How can you beat Tom Hanks, man? It's the guy.
Very easily. Basketball,
who is a better Geppetto?
He may get me in shrimp boating, okay? Peeing.
How many times you met the president? Oh.
3, actually. Thanks for asking.
The real president, not that fake one
I don't
on
know
TV.
how many different presidents. That's the same one 3 times.
Yeah, man. Oh well. I had a bad joke I was going to say there right now, but I'm not going to say it.
Save it. We'll come back to it.
No, I'll tell y'all after.
Yeah, save it. We'll come back to it later.
Yeah, but sorry.
But
I also feel you out too, because like, yes, the studios are kind of scared because like right now, like don't really have good numbers on what they're going to get. They can actually pay someone for streaming. Also, the price of streaming things have gotten in flux because of bandwidth, storage costs of all this. It's they're
just look at all the movies.
And they're not releasing, and they're also not releasing good numbers. Like we talked about when you walked off, it's like the studios aren't, like the streaming services aren't releasing numbers. We have no idea. I think the only person, unfortunately, that's giving great numbers is Alpha Goog with YouTube saying like, yes, 15 million people have watched this. I think if Netflix and Disney, they put this out there like, okay, yeah, how many people actually bought this? And it's like, okay, yeah. Why aren't the residuals for these up there? Like 30 million people have rewatched the classic Little Mermaid, and 20 million people watch the new Little Mermaid movie. Which oh, by the way, so my daughter watched the huge fight because my daughter loves the new Little Mermaid. My wife hates that. Wants to watch the old Little Mermaid. My daughter's like, that's not the real Little Mermaid. This is Little Mermaid, and it's hilarious. I love it. It's hilarious.
Neither one of them are the real one. Go back to the original Hans Christian Andersen.
Well, neither one of them dissolves in the water in sadness.
So when Reinhold comes in, let me show you the real story.
Let me show you the real Cinderella. Here's the stepsisters getting their eyes pecked out by crows.
Oh my God.
And them hacking their feet so they can fit into the slippers.
Movie studios aren't really good at figuring out how much their movie's going to make, because I mean, look at how many times they put movies out that are just tanked because they're not good at figuring out what consumers want.
It's a combination of not knowing what the consumers want. Talking about My Little Mermaid. Oh, Chrissy. But it's not just that; it's them not knowing how to market their things as well. Yeah.
Market it, or just they mess with the creative process too much. Obviously, there's this great meme I saw yesterday where it was like, studio saying, we love this. This is completely different. No one's ever done this before. Now, how can we change it to make it fit, what everybody else has done, so we know it can make money, right? I mean, that's the thinking. Yeah. And it's hard to find, a studio willing to take the chance on that. And so the idea that they have a good understanding of how much they should be paying people, because I mean, there's still a lot of just bad executives in Hollywood, and the fact that they're making money and keeping the actors from making money to make their numbers look better, to make their profit margin look better, is not the way to go. You make better movies and you market it well, and you give people chances to put something out there, and if it flops, it flops. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But
my favorite, most recent marketing issue that happened was with The Flash, where one of the producers says, the move Ezra Miller's so good, you forget about all of his kidnapping and abuse accusations.
No, you don't. He ain't that good.
It's like, bruh.
He ain't Kevin Spacey. Oh, no. Anyway,
terrible, fucking terrible.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, they also don't know how to write for movies. Like, they get a lot of people who don't respect a lot of their source material, stuff like that, or they respect it in a very weird way. It's, I don't know. It's, I really just, for one, I will say that I'll put this out beneath there. I think the only way we can figure out why anime never adapts to live action, I think we need to get a good live action movie and adapt it to anime, and I think it should be Mission Impossible.
Harry, it exists. It's called Speed Racer.
Oh man, Speed Racer's so good. That movie's so good. Once you take out the crappy soundtrack that the movie came out with and add Initial D to it, so better, so much better.
The Speed Racer movie was basically Speed Racer.
It's so good though.
It felt so Speed Racer.
Yeah,
and it's the Coens, and they're like, "Here you go."
Yeah, it's so good. Apparently my wife didn't watch it. I'm sitting there watching it with my daughters. She's like, "What is this movie?" I'm like,
and apparently Alita Battle Angel was good enough that they already announced 2 sequels.
Nice.
So,
all right.
But movies that are in
so it's just Netflix.
Pipeline.
So it's just Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix is terrible at it, and Japan is too. They want to turn their own things into live action.
Hey, the Rurouni Kenshin one, is mid. I'm sorry,
the Full Metal Alchemist one, and talk to me there.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to lose weight. No, the thing that got me with the Rurouni Kenshin one, because it looks solid up until you really watch the choreographed swordplay, and you wonder why is he using a reverse grip on a reverse blade sword? This is too much reverse. It's too much reverse. This is stupid. This is dumb. No, this is dumb. And why would he use the reverse grip? There's too many YouTube videos that says this is bad. There's so many this. You don't reverse grip your sword. You don't do this because this is better. Why would I do this?
It's cinematic though. That's the whole point.
No. He did do it in the you let the guy from the anime to live action, let him do the stupid technique where he holds his knives like that and spin really fast. They allowed that. She was like, okay, cool, that's an anime thing. Okay, well, we're gonna let that go. But you motherfucker.
Right, there's plenty of anime things like Death the Kid firing 2 Desert Eagles with his pinky.
That's
with no recoil.
Oh, that's the trap. See, you gotta work them arms. You work them arms, right? You gotta work them arms. You gotta lock them. That's it. But he doesn't skip back to either.
But I feel like the residual finishing that concept is that the residual thing is very important, and you can see what happens when it starts to cave in on itself. When you look at the comic book industry, because they have to keep making new each writer has to make a new character for them to get residuals off of, because if they use old characters, the original creator gets residuals. So for them to get money, they create new characters all the time. So that's why you got, Punchline, who is just Harley Quinn if she was an influencer, which is a real character. This is not even a joke. It's a real ass character.
That's trash. That's trash.
And she's like Joker's sidekick, and then and she exists because, well, if I make this character and they take off, I get a bunch of money because I created it. Paul Dano is probably so happy he created Harley Quinn in the Batman the Animated Series, because he's getting bank
every time.
Every time, because they made her the 4th pillar of the DC universe.
For reasons.
Bank.
For reasons.
There are 4 seasons of the Harley Quinn show,
which is good. Which fucking gold.
4 seasons.
All gold. Some of the best thing DC ever did out.
They are making a Suicide Squad isekai anime, mainly focusing on Harley Quinn. He is making bank.
Hopefully he's making bank. We don't know.
I mean, that's the big thing, is that's why you keep seeing when different people come into power to control making the movies. That's why you keep getting all these newer characters or characters that people don't really know very well. Like when you look at, like for Into the Spider-Verse, it makes sense for them to add Genki because Genki was Miles' best friend. So in every game that has Miles, they have Genki. So in the Spider-Man Miles Morales game, Genki's there, and he's a main part of the plot in Spider-Man 2. So it totally makes sense. But if they decide to shoehorn in a new villain for no reason, what's the point?
So, anyways, I'm going to shoehorn in my self-insert character.
Sorry, it's a canon event. I'm sorry.
Sorry, this has always been Spider-Man's best friend. He's right here. He's always been here. Always.
Yeah, Peter Parker's known him since childhood. Don't you know?
Yeah, let me write this in. Integral to the part.
The most important character.
But matter of fact, he's the real one that made the suit. Let me show you.
Literally in the comics, after Peter got his body back from Doc Ock,
I forgot about that.
And blew up Parker Industries and all that fun stuff. One of the things they did was that they created like a Carnage goblin suit called the Red Goblin that went on Harry Osborn's son. Because they created Harry Osborn's son and made him the Red Goblin for whatever reason. It's like I don't know, man. They gave Eddie Brock a son so that way he could be like in tune with all the symbiotes ever. And it's like, what are you guys doing?
So they just did the meme, like, so he's got a son now.
Yes.
They just did the meme. Why'd you do the meme?
Well, yeah, the residuals, I feel like that's one of the more important things. Once they figure out how streaming is paying, and that way the writers get their fair cut of the things, the writers and the actors get their fair cuts of the things that they've created. I feel like that's massively important. Also, willingly taking people's identity and holding it and allowing yourself to use it as background characters in other movies is horrifying, terrifying, and terrible. And I hate that. That's the thing that bothers me the most. It's like, I own your likeness.
I know, yeah.
That's what they did to Crispin Glover in Back to the Future 2, right? They used a stand-in and then imaged his face over the top of it.
Sick.
And
sick.
I think he sued him for it.
Good. Yeah. Hope he gets paid. That's sick.
Yeah, it's who was it?
But it's also really cool.
Streetcar Named Desire, the main guy from that. Who am I thinking of?
Streetcar Named Desire? What?
That actor who passed, and I cannot remember his name off the top of my head.
What, Paul Walker?
No.
Streetcar Named Desire was Marlon Brando.
That's it. Marlon Brando. They were trying to get their estate to have Marlon Brando be a main character in a movie where they just put him digitally over somebody else in the movie.
Well, that's gross.
Yeah. So that's what makes it very weird. And like Timberland using like an AI to make a Biggie song, which he did do, is just
Here's the thing. I don't mind some of that stuff as long as the people who own the likeness have a say in it and they agree to it. Like there are times where that makes sense to do. Like you're wanting to do a movie and you want to pay homage to that actor who was in those movies, and then you bring him in to do some stuff and good to go because they've passed or something. I mean, that makes a lot more sense. Like Doctor Who would be great with some of that stuff. Bring some of the older doctors. They've been bringing the older doctors in, but they're aged, right? So if you could bring back the way they used to look and do some interactions and have some fun stuff happen, that would be great. But you want to make sure you get those actors okay to do it. And they're blessing to do it, right?
In my brain, it's just like, why not just make it animated then?
Yeah, I think that's our other issues.
They just don't want to watch anime. They want to watch the real. They want to watch real life stuff.
But it's not real anymore.
The technology exists though, so why not do it? What's the difference, right? It's the technology's there. It doesn't look. I mean, when they did the Tron thing, and they de-aged and all that stuff. It was kind of but
Oof.
when they did Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that de-aging actually looked really good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I could see doing
Yeah,
that stuff.
but in my brain, it's more of what. So let's say you're making a movie, and they decide to cast two. They decided they wanted the main characters to be Marlon Brando and Marilyn Monroe, and they just CGI them into the movie. Why not just make it animated at that point? Because that's what you're doing. You're making an animated thing, but just putting animated faces over human beings. It's the exact same thing.
Because it's not. Because there's a difference between animated and real life likeness. You can't look at an anime and say, "Oh, that looks like real life." Come on. I mean, it's
I'm not
animated.
saying it's not a straight anime. It's more of like animation in general. It doesn't have to be anime.
Even regular animation can't capture real life look, right? I mean, without a lot of work. I mean, you can do it, but it's a lot of work. Whereas you can take and if you were to take a movie and you were to put Marlon Brando and Marilyn Monroe in it, as long as the states of those two people are okay with it, I don't see nothing wrong with it. It might be fun. It might be a cool thing to see happen. I don't know if I'd watch a whole movie with them on there, because it's not ever going to be them acting unless they can do some really good AI at this point, going back and watching all, inputting in all of their, past performances and the interviews and things like that. Maybe you could come up with something that would be more realistic. But for a little quick hit spot here or there, or for a cameo type thing, I think it's nothing wrong with that, as long as you get the permissions. When you try to do it without permissions, like they did to Crispin Glover, that's where you get into the issue, in my opinion.
So yeah, we're about 10 to 15 years out of Frank Sinatra selling his VPN ads. So,
well, haven't they already done this though? I mean, they've had commercials, like they had Nat King Cole singing with his daughter in a commercial. It was that 10 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that.
Yep.
I mean, they can do that. They have done it. It's not, I don't think, as big a deal, as long as I said you get the permissions of the people who own that estate and they're okay with it.
Yeah, just like,
and there are times I think it's completely appropriate, like certain movie franchise or certain, like they're bringing something or doing something with the movie that actor was very key in and was very important to, and they want to bring him in for a quick cameo or something to help the plot or make the movie interesting. I think that's a great idea, but I don't know about trying to recreate, like if you were trying to recreate Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder, I don't know if I'd watch a whole movie of Gene Wilder doing that, what I'm saying? But if you had him cameo in for 4 or 5 minutes, that might be cool.
All right. Well, we're going to end this here because, yes, because Rhino's giving me hope that my Batman, the real Batman, Kevin Conroy, could give us another movie again if the state lets us to. So,
they have enough footage of his voice. They could do it.
Yeah, they have like 8 games and the animated series and all the animated movies he did. He has a lot of stuff
dialogue into computer. They could pump out. The text to speech stuff these days is incredible. You can go to do AI stuff. You can make a video. Like, there are people who make YouTube videos with AI text to speech and it's horrible. But nowadays you can go to these websites and do it, and it sounds like somebody talking. You can use that voice. You can import your own voice into there and write your own podcast. So I could write up a podcast with my voice on it. I have enough talking into the storage, and I could just write it and then let the computer make the actual audio podcast, right? And then get some video stuff and get pictures of the face, and then I can de-age it down to what I used to look like when I was in high school. And I could have a video podcast of it, and I could be writing it all, and all you have to do is write it and push some buttons and let the work in the background. Sounds like a great future to me. I'll probably be, gone before we realize it.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about that, Skips. Anyway, so yeah, let's end this episode here. Thank you guys all for listening to this episode. If you got this far in the episode, thank you. You're the true troopers. You could have been listening to anything else in the world, but you decided to listen to this, and that I thank you. This is a live recording of our podcast we do on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.com/weare, that's the letter R, libertarians. And you can also get us on YouTube at youtube.com/weare libertarians. Please come hang out with us live. We enjoy that you download this podcast and listen to us while you're doing what you're doing, but come hang out with live. Christian needs someone else to talk to. Okay, all right. That being said, I don't think we got some exciting things coming down the pipe. This thing, I do want to do some more Reinhold Explains coming up. I've got those things planned, and I get access to doing stuff with more StreamYard, and I got full access to the YouTube channel. So, I got some good things coming up.
So I'm getting those SAG cards. Let's go.
Not joining SAG. I'm sorry. I don't do.
Next week I'll be computer generated. So.
See here, I'm glad you said Disney because the Screenwriters Guild was texting me telling me to be careful what I was saying. So,
so goodbye, everybody. You're supposed to say goodbye.
Bye. I thought you just ended it. Goodbye.